this video, we're going to be talking about the initial pairing process and also the Gaposa motor positioning. On the Gaposa motor, the white button on the head of the motor needs to be visible from wherever you're working from. This is going to be your master override. It's also going to be your pairing button. So what I'm going to show you in a second is on initial pairing process, once you power up the motor, you're going to press and hold that white button down for about 5 to 7 seconds until the motor rotates either up or down. As you'll see in the video in just a couple seconds, I'm going to show you that you can rotate this motor. Now also, in the event that you ever lost your remote and you didn't have anything to control your screens, without ever disassembling or depowering the motor, you can also use the white button on the head of the motor to repair a new remote. Now, this one was priorly programmed on channel number 2. Right now I have no screens operating on channel number 2 on my remote. So I'm going to go ahead and depress the white button on the head of the motor. Hold it down until the unit runs up or down. Now, without pairing it to the remote, I can actually release and press again that white button, and I can rotate this weight bar into any position. Once I stop it and the last direction that it ran, so it ran down, I'm going to press my channel that I want selected and the down button, the opposite button to confirm, and I have now paired my remote. On initial programming of the Gaposa motor, it's going to have 3 rotations, up or down. Now when it comes to you want to make sure that you have enough slack on your screen so that you're not at the top of your track, because when you depress this white button, the unit might run up before it runs down, so be cautious at that point. Once we go ahead and we've paired it now to the remote, what we're going to do is we're going to open up our limit settings on our remote. So on initial pairing process, we're going to set our limits by only depressing the right limit button on the back of the remote. Hold it down 5 to 7 seconds until it jogs, rotates up and down. Now we have cleared the factory settings out of the motor and we're into programming mode. We're going to take, and we have to set the top limit first. And usually what I recommend is on initial install, don't try to fine tune it. Leave it down 6 to 8 inches from the top of your track while you're in initial installation process. We'll go ahead and soft set it here at the top about 6 inches down. Go ahead and press and hold the down button on the remote for more than 2 seconds and you can release. It's going to continue to run down. Again, we're going to do the same process on this where we're going to stop it about 6 to 8 inches short of the floor. In this case, we can always go back and fine tune it after we get everything installed. So I'll bring it down just a couple more inches. I'll press and hold the center stop button. Motor jogs. Now we are fully programmed, both for our upper limit, short of our top of our tracks, our bottom limit, short of the floor. Now, if we happen to keep this in the back of our pocket, we lean against a ladder, it's not going to activate and run our system out of the tracks. So again, on the initial pairing process, press and hold the white button. You never want to press and hold the white button after you have it programmed to your remote, because this is a master override. In addition to this, if you lost a remote, you could take the housing off or the access panel off, press and hold this white button, let it run whichever direction that it runs. You would do the same process with it by doing that. If we pressed and held the white button right now, we know I was working on channel number 2. After 10 seconds, it disables and deactivates every remote that was priorly programmed to this motor. So right now, my remote does not work on channel number 2 again. So we've cleared it. So in addition to our other programming process where you can clear it off of your remote, you can also clear your remotes by pressing the white button on the head of the motor. One of the other nice things about Gaposa is, let's say that we had every single one of these 5 units powered up, none of them programmed. You can open up only the programming process for this one motor while all the others are powered up, by pressing the white button on the head of the motor. So we press and hold the white button on the head of the motor. The unit runs down. We select the channel that you want, press down on the remote. We've paired. We press the opposite button to confirm.